I just dropped in my website where you can go grab this slide deck, or I dropped in the actual slides. So you've got everything you need there. And then we'll get started in another minute. Are you staying here, John?
I don't have a session, so I was going to watch you work for once.
Oh, it's like getting an evaluation. Okay.
Gosh, Josh and I will be very kind.
It's okay. I got a second cup of coffee, so I'm on a roll. It's all good.
Love it.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started because I'm an on-time kind of person. Welcome, everybody. My name's Kim Vogie, and I'm going to be sharing with you Cyber Sandwich today. The session link is right here in the chat, or you can go to my website, which is bit.ly/techsassy, all lowercase, and I made an EduProtocols tab where I put both of these slide decks for my presentations today. So drop in the chat if you might where you're from, just so that I can just read the room, or maybe tell me what you teach. I teach in Corona, I live in Corona, California, not the virus. I teach in Placentia, Yorba Linda, which is, for those of you not familiar with California, it's kind of near Disneyland. And this year I'm teaching 6th grade, and I started a virtual school in our district. So it's all new, the content and the virtualness of everything, but so happy to have my EduProtocols to keep me sane. And I know Kristen, she lives in my district and works close to me. We've got Brazil in the house. Awesome. Mexico and New Jersey. Valverde, awesome. San Mateo. So we're going global here with this group, 5th grade. Great. So nice to have all of you here. Cyber Sandwich is one of the first EduProtocols I ever learned. I actually used this it went to Q 2018, and that's when John said, buy my book and have it delivered to your hotel, and then come to the book signing. And I did. And
I wait a minute. You don't start that story right. You said, how can I learn more? And I said, you could buy the book. Like, you make it sound like I was selling the book.
Okay, yes, true. Anyhow, I felt super special at the hotel when I showed up. They're like, Mrs. Vogie, here's your package. And I've never had anything delivered to me at a hotel before, so it's kind of cool. And then I met he and Marlena at the book signing and went to a session with Cyber Sandwich and met Steve McGriff as well, and just have fallen in love with the EduProtocol ever since. And when John said, just tweet me, I'll answer your question, I'm like, really? This guy's going to offer free tech support for life, and he literally does. And he has become an integral part of my, I feel, my success as a teacher lately. So thank you, John, since you're here.
And in the same way, you expand our reach, Kim. So, you've brought a whole new skill set and tech sassiness that makes us better people too. So that's kind of the EduProtocols lifestyle. Like, how do we make each other better?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we give it away. We overshare.
Yep.
So I'm going to get to sharing my screen, and there we go. So way back a year ago, I started a Facebook group. I encourage you to join it. We have a lot of fun. It's Empowered Adventure, and 50 people from this morning have already joined. And the link is further down in the slides as well. So we are going to talk about Cyber Sandwich today. And this is, I encourage you, please feel free to interrupt anytime if you have a question, unmute or throw it in the chat, because this is not like school where you can't interrupt or anything like that. I'd rather clear up a question when you have it. So John made these great recipe cards, and I actually leave these in my slide decks for my kids so that they see the simplicity in what their task is. And it kind of gives them an idea of what we're doing and where we're going. So Cyber Sandwich typically in the classroom was 2 students working together, sharing 5 slides, using one source for information that they're going to read and annotate, and then they compare it and they talk about it before they write about it. So I think on a daily basis, we can all agree that we read, annotate, and summarize. Like we do that in every subject area. And so that's why this works so well across all areas. The next slide I have right here kind of breaks down the process. And it's this is over on the left is like a thumbnail of the slides that Marlena created. I've linked the template to the EduProtocols website and this template later on in the presentation, so you'll have it. This template for me worked really well when we were face-to-face. And so if Josh and I were partners on an activity, Josh would make a copy of the slide deck, share it with me. Then we would be in the slide deck together. I'd be on the blue, Josh would be on the yellow. And then we would annotate right there on the slide deck. We would get to that third slide that looks like 3 columns, and we would share our information, and anything that was the same, we would put in that center column. And then we would have our time to summarize at the end. And so that's the overall flow of this. And to me, it changed up a bit with distance learning. So I'm going to model this for you, how I've changed this up during distance learning. I break it down and have us work actually in whole group because I don't know with synchronous and asynchronous learning who my partner is going to be able to be. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be, I teach all virtual now. And so some of my kids attend live sessions, some of them attend the after session basically because there's the whole reason that you're in independent study. So this is going to be our workflow today. So we are actually going to be using a video. Yeah, sure, I can. Julia, hold on one second.
And then while you're doing that, Kim, I'll give you a little headspace. What I've done with Cyber Sandwich in Nearpod is I've turned it into a contributive activity. So the kids go to a link and they read, and then they all drop their notes into the notes in Nearpod. And then I do a collaborate board and they put what they think is their most compelling note. And then we do note stealing. They add the notes, and then I do an open-ended, and you can take the 5 or 6 notes to write your paragraph. So that's one more variation on it. But I like the way you're doing this, Kim. If you've got breakout rooms, you can just establish and then break them out and let it rip.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen here in a second.
Yep.
So typically you would be reading something, but I wanted to do a quicker input for you. So we're going to be watching this 1 minute long commercial. So I've kind of broken down the task so you know where we're going. We are going to watch the video together. You are going to go claim a slide in just a moment. You're going to take notes. We're going to go in breakout rooms. You're going to share, and then we're going to come back and write. So let's watch the video together. You are going to get to watch this a second time. So this first time is just for your enjoyment, like our first read.
I used to be a cat. Every day the same.
Oh, I love this one.
I'd be aloof till lunch, then wholly indifferent after. To me, everything was just, yeah. Then it hit me. Why be so cat? Why not be a bit more dog? I mean, look at the world today. It's amazing. Running, amazing. Chasing cars, amazing. Sticks, amazing. Car means grab the frisbee. Maybe we should all be a bit more dog. Be more dog.
Oh. Okay. So that is a crowd pleaser for kids. I actually use it with one of the other EduProtocols called Cats and Dogs. But what's going to happen now is you are going to go here and claim a slide. Oh, shoot, I linked the wrong thing. Hold on. Let me throw this in the chat. I don't know what's wrong with my computer that lately it hasn't been copying and pasting like the last thing I did. Very weird. Okay.
Oh, yeah. You know how to fix that?
No.
2 things: reboot and then clear your browser cache. For the long term, those will fix it. Sometimes your clipboard gets jammed up.
Oh, okay. So now you should be able to get to this document that is copy of Cyber Sandwich during a Zoom.
I love the title.
Well, it was a template. So what you're going to do is you're going to go claim a slide. I'm actually going to put this in the grid view. And this is great for during Zooms so I can see where my kids are. So in my classroom, kids have a number, and so they know what slide to go to. Your adult learners, you're going to go claim a slide, go scroll down later in the slide deck if you need to. Go ahead and toss your name on there. And this is where you're going to be annotating, because when we get ready to go in breakout rooms, it doesn't matter that Josh and I, our slides are not right next to each other, because he can be on his slide, I'm going to be on my slide. And when I talk, Josh is going to listen to me and highlight his things that were the same. And then I'm going to read mine and he's going to highlight. Instead of that Venn diagram, we can use the highlight tool. So everyone's claimed a slide. Now I know I let you watch that video first, but you didn't really know what you were going to do with it. So now I want you to watch it again. It's kind of that second read. And now you can annotate. Some of you I see already, I mean, it was only a minute and it was pretty clear what it is, but I'm going to let you watch it again just to model that best practice. Now that everyone has a slide. So let me grab the video again and we'll just watch it, do a quick view. So you are watching because you're going to be summarizing what is this commercial about? Basically, what does the cat why does the cat want to be more like a dog?
And what's great about this, Kim? Oh, sorry.
Every day the same. I'd be aloof till lunch, then coldly indifferent after. To me, everything was just, yeah. Then it hit me. Why be so cat? Why not be a bit more dog? I mean, look at the world today. It's amazing. Running, amazing. Chasing cars, amazing. Sticks, amazing. Carpe diem. It means grab the frisbee. Maybe we should all be a bit more dog. Be more dog.
Okay. John, you were saying?
I totally forgot.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So if you guys are familiar with a close read, this is a close watch, right? Yeah. So we're uncovering these little subtleties that don't get seen on the first try without scaffolding. And guess what, Kim? Speaking standards and listening standards are equal standards. It doesn't say those are the level B standards. Right. Those are some of very critical standards. And your kids are going to be watching videos on their Smarter Balance test, and they're going to have to do the same skill. So it's a really tight way to do that.
I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to fill in your notes. If you've already filled in notes, go back and look at your notes and see if there's anything you want to add, some details in there. You don't have to have just 5 notes. You can add more to that. And what I like about the view I have right now with seeing all of your slides is I can say, hey, Terry, do you need me?
We can do that too.
Go ahead, John.
I said we can do that too if you click on the grid view at the bottom. The participants can do the same thing.
You can see each other's, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I can see as the teacher who I might need to go help. Okay. So the next step here for distance learning is that I'm going to send you into Zoom rooms with each other. And I'm actually going to do groups of 2 or 3. What I found with my students is sometimes they don't talk. Oftentimes they don't talk. They'll use the chat. You're adult learners. I'm hoping that you will introduce yourself, say hi, and chat with each other. I find that giving my students a specific task to do while they're in the Zoom rooms is also very helpful. So your specific task is to share the information from the commercial. And as Josh maybe shares and reads, I'm going to be highlighting on mine the things that are the same that Josh said, because I know then those are things I'm going to want to include in my summary. If we both have it, chances are we both heard it properly. And so this is giving us the verbal rehearsal before writing, because if we can't talk about it, we can't write about it very easily. And so I'm going to go ahead and send you You're going to be in Zoom rooms for 3 to 4 minutes. So it's a quick time so that you use your time wisely. That's the other good thing about EduProtocols. We work very efficiently with that. And so breakout rooms. All right. So I will see you in a few. And if you guys don't want to go into breakout room and just stay here and discuss, you're more than welcome to. That's okay. No worries, Joan.
I just didn't want you to hear me when I'm yelling at AT&T for lying.
I've done that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that number's been gone for years. So
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm always worried that I'm going to lose people. So, well, I'm glad you all got back here.
We look to be safely back from the teleporter.
Yay, great. All right. So what I love seeing here now is I see highlighting on your documents. So that means I know you were doing your job in there with talking and realizing what facts you have. So the next step would be to have you write a summary. And what I have found with my students is they don't know how to start their summary. And so I added in a technique I learned, I think from Step Up to Writing, called IVF, not in vitro fertilization. It is identify it, verb it, and finish it. Some of you have other names for this. I filled this in right here. The commercial provides evidence about why a cat wishes to be like a dog. And so it made it much easier for my students to come up with that. How am I going to start this off? Because if you write the topic sentence, I'm going to tell you about, I'm going to give you.
Oh God.
Because I'm so like, I'm going to tell you about. I don't know who ever tells kids that they can write that, but somebody out there is doing it.
That's the power of paragraph at work.
Yeah. So I've gotten a lot of questions about this IVF statement. So I found this right here on how to create an IVF topic sentence. So this is a list of verbs. You could alter this to meet your grade level needs. You could go through and make sure they're the verbs. A lot of them are the verbs that are on the SBAC. I think there's a website that shows you like all the verbs. But for those of you that are SBAC's testing state, to make sure kids are getting that scholarly language. And so you could just practice the IVF statement as well. So this is like a separate little page. This is not really part of the EduProtocol, but I've made it part of it, the iteration. So hold on, someone's asking for the link. Oh, I see Josh. Josh was ahead of me. Thank you, Josh. Okay. You're invited every time, Josh. No. So the topic sentence for the IVF statement, super important. They really struggle. I've used this. I was a tech coach before the district got rid of that position. And I did this in one day. I did this in a 3rd grade, a 5th grade, a 9th grade, and 11th grade classroom. And I used IVF statement in all of them because it works for everything. What did you read? Or what did you watch? What did it do? And then finish it up. So it could be in the article by so-and-so, or in the article entitled, or something like that. It can work for everything. It works when you're doing social studies, science, language arts, everything, even in math, right? Because I could use a graph and interpret a graph with the IVF statement. In the plot line, or the plot line demonstrates or shows, whatever. Okay. So that was the master for there. Questions you might have about Cyber Sandwich in general so far? It's absolutely claim, evidence, and reason. Yep, John and I are actually working on some fun stuff for claims, evidence, and reason, but you can totally turn that in here. This is how versatile the Cyber Sandwich is, for sure.
Yeah, all you've got to do is say one of your note items should copy evidence over. And kids love copying, right? Oh, we can copy? Yeah, but just one.
Yeah.
And then you add a parenthetical and you got some really cool stuff cruising right along. I just got a link from a teacher who teaches AP US history, and they were doing Cyber Sandwich and AP. So you can take this as far as you want to go conceptually.
And if any of you are lower grades, on the website, there's a template for what's called peanut butter and jelly, which is like the junior version of Cyber Sandwich. So there's been, a lot of us are distance learning. Like I'm fully virtual. I have some friends who are hybrid. And I think John is almost all face-to-face, even though they're at like behind shields.
Face-to-face, 8 feet away.
Yeah. So I put together this slide to kind of address some of the issues and things I've done for either of them. So in the center there, you'll see kind of like the item. And then on the left is what I would do face-to-face. On the right is what I do for distance. So the actual slide deck, when I'm face-to-face, the pairs or trios make a copy. And the template is already set up for pairs or trios. I actually like the trio factor, especially to support my students with special needs or my English language learners, to give them 2 partners. It works out. Or you always have that day where someone's absent and you've got an odd number. And so the slides are prepped for you, ready to go. I use the whole class slide deck, which I do have a master for you on the next slide, so don't panic, it's there. The reading material, if I'm face-to-face, the kids are going to read it in class or view it in class, the input. If I am distance learning, I ask my students, please read the article before you come into class so that we can make best use of the time we have together. In face-to-face, we're going to annotate in class. With distance, I'm going to ask them to annotate beforehand. Because we've already done this a few times with the fun, simple, silly, low cognitive load type of things. And I have some resources for that for you too, so that now we can work on it with our content. When we share face-to-face, we can share face-to-face or Flipgrid. Like if you have that absent kid or you've got the hybrid situation, you've got some online and some aren't. For sharing for distance learning, we're going to share in breakout rooms or even Flipgrid. Because I've got a couple of kids who never attend my live sessions because we're an independent study, but I still want them to have the opportunity to share or listen to someone else. So we use Flipgrid for that. And then individuals write, because I want that individual accountability. In the last session I did on this, someone said, what about grading? And for me, at the beginning, these are practice. I kind of give them like 3 points. 3 points, you did it and you did it well. 2 points, you kind of did it. 1 point, you took a stab at it. And the growth comes in the feedback I provide them. Like you need to work on your topic sentence, or your details need to be in chronological order if it's that type of situation. After we do this practice, I will finally give them a grade on that, but it comes after they've done all the practice. I don't grade them on their practice because it's kind of like John's given the analogy, like in sports, you don't get graded for what you do on the practice field. You're getting graded on what you're getting paid for what you do in the game. So right. I want to give them all that practice time and then get them in the game.
And my variation of that, which is in the same neighborhood, is if you do all the work, even if it's wrong, I'll give you points for practicing. But then on the day of the quiz, you got to get it right. So yeah. I encourage kids to fill it up. If there's 5 facts, I'll help you make better facts later. If you write a paragraph, I'll help you write a better paragraph later. So completion is a thing, because we all have that kid who does nothing and then wants to get an A on the test. I call that Spicoli syndrome. And so if they don't practice every day, they're not going to get an A on the test. It doesn't work like that. So that nudging them forward to doing a body of work every day really is critical.
Okay, so now let's get to the templates and the things I have to share. So
hey, Kim, before you go on, I had a question real quick for you. When you say annotate in class, could you expand a little bit on what you mean by annotate in class?
Sure. So they are marking up the text. So if they were using paper, pencil, they are underlining the vocabulary words that maybe caught them off guard. They're highlighting the evidence. We have like, things to circle, things to star, things to check off. Like they have got a little pattern to that's like a school-wide pattern or a district-wide pattern. So
okay,
it's marking the text.
That's what I was wondering. We just instituted a similar thing. So I was just trying to see if I was.
Well, and to dovetail that, Josh, Kim, you could have them do notice format. You could have them do a Wicker format if you're I almost said COVID, Avid School. So any form of note taking you want, the whole idea is just a template, right? So like what I had my kids do last week was when they wrote their paragraph, I said, in your paragraph, you need to have an appositive, a compound, or a complex. It's your choice. But if you're going to do that, label it yellow, orange, or blue.
And then Rebecca put in there in Google Classroom using Mote for verbal feedback. Absolutely. Mote is worth, I think I spent $20 to get the upgraded version, is worth every penny to not have to type out all those comments. So it is absolutely worth it. Okay, so on these templates here, this link will take you to the Cyber Sandwich template that Marlena Hebern, co-author of the book, created. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's ready to go. It's set up for pairs or trios. You just click on it and it forces you to make a copy. There's also all sorts of the steps and everything written down here, and adaptations for littles. So you're ready to go. You don't even have to create it. You are good. Yes. All right. And then the Smart Start. So John, he's in here, so I'm saying this in front of him. John had this great idea, and he said, hey, Marlena and Kim, let's come up with this 4 days worth of smart starts so that people can get started. And then Marlena and I quickly realized that we just planned John's whole first week for him. Yeah. So anyway, these are all examples of ways to start, whether it's your beginning of your school year or when you first start using this EduProtocol. There's 4 cyber sandwiches on here. They will have absolutely nothing to do with your content, and that's okay. They're high interest for kids of all levels. And they're just silly, fun things because that's how you want to introduce an EduProtocol anyway. We watched a funny commercial today. You could totally use that with kids. They love that commercial, but you don't want to get into the Revolutionary War or into, organic chemistry or anything until you've done this a few times. And this is a great one to use for your evaluation as a teacher, but you want to use it about 4 or 5 times before you do this with your kids for your evaluation. But it's got like every standard in there because they're reading, they're speaking, they're listening, they're writing, and it's incorporating your content. So it's golden for your evaluation. Go ahead, John.
If you're in a self-contaminated classroom, you can do this with science and reading and history and math. So one thing does it all. You can do 2 or 3 a week, but in different subject areas.
Self-contaminated, John, really?
Self-contaminated, okay. Yes.
So the other thing I've put in here is the whole class virtual link that we all used. I put in a master copy in here for you. Very plainly titled, Cyber Sandwich During a Zoom. No originality, just plain and simple. Got to use the KISS method every now and then. So that template's set up in there for you. And then I wanted to share, because this came in really handy with my virtualness of my year, is Alice Keeler's roster tab. So this spreadsheet, you drop in your class list and it will create a slide for each kid that already has their name on it. It's a blank slide, but I use it for like, especially when I need to do a virtual gallery walk or I want kids to share their actual artwork they've made. It makes a slide deck and they can take a picture of their artwork. And so we can see everybody's everything. So it's just kind of a nice thing to have. It didn't necessarily fit in with this cyber sandwich, but it was something that was helpful for asynchronous learning. And then another option I came up with, I was having trouble with my students borrowing each other's paragraphs on that whole big slide deck. You saw my air quotes. So yep. What I did was kind of created another little, and plus this helped my async kids who were not ever live with us. They would take from the Cyber Sandwich slides that we worked on, they would take their notes and put them here. They would line them up with another partner's notes that were already pre-highlighted because they already had talked about it. I was helping them with their topic sentences at this point. Then they wrote their summary here and turned it in. That way I was sure to get original work. Rather than the paragraph in that slide deck, I got their paragraph here. So anyway, that was just kind of an add-on that I wanted to share. And then best of all, the reason you all came, I have my master spreadsheet in here of all.
Ooh,
yeah,
this is gold right here, people.
This is gold. This is
we couldn't actually release this before the session because too many people would have signed up.
True. This is every EduProtocol thing I could find and samples from my students here for you. And it's from a variety of people. I tried to attribute all of them at the top. And it's things I found. I started this at the beginning of the summer and I wanted to make it like perfect, but then I got tapped to start a virtual school in our district. So it's not quite finished. It's a work in progress. But, and as we learn more about using Jamboard and all the different tools that we have out there, this is for you. So it's got everything, probably overwhelmingly so. All right. And then my last piece of iterations is when you get ready to do a cyber sandwich, there's really no end to how you can have your input. It can be video, it can be expository, it can be narrative. The skills that you can cover range from summarizing, compare, contrast, claim and evidence, drawing conclusions, main idea and details. I should have put it in here, but you could compare characters in the story or focus on characters, focus on the conflict, focus on plot, all sorts of different narrative elements. And then the output can be a paragraph or a Flipgrid. It could be book creator. It could be a variety of outputs, but I just wanted people to see that it's very flexible once you start using it, and you can use it in a variety of ways across all content areas, as John had mentioned as well. So questions or comments? Is there a master example for slide 5? Let's see. Slide 5. Yeah, actually on the master slides on that spreadsheet, I have in the Cyber Sandwich over here where it has examples, there's point of view, and then there's a distance learning example and partners in distance learning. So I've got a couple examples right in the master slide.
And then there's the, if you go back to that slide 5, Kim, if you look at the right side, there's that string of blocks. That's from the EduProtocol site. So you can take Kim's stuff and match it up. So those 5 blocks on that side are just the free templates you can go get.
Absolutely. So that in a nutshell is Cyber Sandwich, and totally versatile. Like I said, the first time do it with something super fun, or the first few times even doing it with something fun, low cognitive load. Maybe the second time you do it on a reading passage you've already totally taken apart and already annotated. So they've got that scaffolded in there. And then the next time they do it on their own. Or maybe the first time it's just a paragraph. Well, that might be too small because you can't really summarize a paragraph because then you're summarizing a summary. But just to make it accessible to kids, I think would be good. Or with my 5th graders, I even provided a paragraph frame. We went to the whole close activity because I was teaching the process and the paragraphing. So lots of iterations.
Well, and it can definitely be an assessment too, because after you as a teacher have sensed that the kids have the skill down, you can do a thing like, hey, it's partner day. Maggie and Josh, I want you guys to pick something from chapter 4 you can cyber sandwich together, go. And now they're going to execute all these language arts things, but in the context of history or science. And you're getting a lot of Maggie's calling me for more information as we speak. I'm kidding. But now you're getting so many things done because they're reading, they're collaborating, they're thinking, they're comparing, and they're doing 8 or 10 language arts standards at the same time that they're doing their thing about early man. Not that I'm teaching 6th grade right now. So there's just so much going on there. And like I shared earlier, this can work all the way through an AP level. There's the peanut butter and jelly version. Basically, what Marlena does for the littles is the teacher does the read. We know how to do that in primary. And they basically crowdsource their notes. And then they can write a sentence summarizing what they learned. So you just keep whittling it down cognitively. And I want to add on, Kim, I don't know if you remember this one all the time, but I've mentioned it with you a couple of times, but this is a good one to remember. Sam Patterson at Sam Patue on Twitter. He wrote probably the most powerful blog post I've ever read, which is, it was literally 4 sentences basically. And it said, stop raising your hands. I'm going to call on everybody. And the beauty of this workflow is everybody's working. And that's the adaptation that I think Marlena made that was so brilliant, which is in a classic think, pair, share, it would sound like this. Maggie and Josh, don't you have anything yet? Well, I'm going to get my popsicle sticks right here and I'm going to scare you into listening. And that's not where we want kids' brains. And then at the end of a think, pair, share, we mostly only have talking, right? All the learning disappears into the ether. And the first district I worked in, which will remain nameless, but it sounds like Movis, they were big on think, pair, share and student engagement. And I tried it for about 5 days and I could not handle it because the popsicle stick thing was terrifying my introverts and my ELs. And I did not like the way that felt. So I stayed away from popsicle sticks for a long time. But then Marlena said, wait a minute, we know that it works. It's the way we're doing it that's wrong. And so once you establish that everybody's going to do this, then there's an equanimity that goes on. And Kim, I'm going to add, can you add a slide and live dictate for me? So I do, when we go to do the share, which is the Socratic moment, I give the kids some answering scaffolds, if that makes sense. So I'm going to scaffold their questions because, gosh, they're sixth graders. They could barely write a paragraph, right? So I give them 3 categories for the team to share out, because in my model, every single team will share something. So the first category is Bazinga. And that is, when you read the article, what was the mind-blowing fact, right? So Bazinga, that's one category. What's the mind-blowing fact? We read a thing the other day about, they found footprints of a preteen girl in New Mexico that were 10,000 years old. And this was a new discovery, right? So there's the Bazinga. Oh my God, I'd never thought about people 10,000 years ago in New Mexico. The second category I call Wall of Facts. This is where all my chicken-livered kids live. They just give me 3 to 4 facts as fast as they can. The song was Flash. Sticks are amazing. Running is amazing. Turns out water's amazing. Just give me 3 or 4 facts. And then the third category is big question. So after you read it as a team, what's something that's still making you go, I don't get why this happened, or I don't get that word. So what we do is I give the kids that scaffold, because if you've taught 6th grade, what happens is when you say, what do you think? They just go. So I scaffold it to start, and then we build and see where they grow. So that's another way to get the conversations going. And you can change the categories, but my logic, I'm building for human brains, right? So if I give them something that blows their minds, they can tell me this blew our minds. Great. The next group might do Wall of Facts, and this is where my introverts come in. They'll just say, we're going Wall of Facts, fact, 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 fact. Hey, they're repeating it to the whole class. There's nothing bad there, right? And then again, my Josh and Maggie group might be like, why don't all cats do this? Well, that's what makes the video funny, is the cats still don't realize that they could be fun too. That's the whole irony of the whole thing. So it gives kids a safe space to do their response. So I don't know if I've ever showed you that one, Kim, but I realized after doing this times that the kids need a little framework to get them started.
Christina, to answer your question on Keeler's roster tab, it creates a slide for each student. So you put the names in a spreadsheet, you click the magic button that Alice has coded, and then it has a green slide with a kid's name, and then it has a blank slide underneath it. And so the kids, I do mine in alphabetical order, obviously, and the kids can go find their spot.
Thank you.
And Kim, how sweet is that for the thin slide study guide?
Yeah, I used it.
I thought I heard you say that, but when I opened the document, it just looked like it was going to make a tab on the Sheets document.
So, I wonder if I got the wrong one. I may have gotten the wrong one. She's got a bazillion on her page. Maybe I got the wrong one.
And is that like, do you deploy that as is that an add-on that you use, Kim?
It is. It's an add-on.
Well, let's find it together here real quick. This is a popular subject.
I know. That's what I'm doing. Going into her templates of add-ons. So maybe it's not roster tab.
It says a named tab will be created for each student.
Then I got the wrong one. Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Thank you. Because if I can stop typing their names into the slides, that would be magic.
Yeah, that would save me 4 hours a week right there.
Yeah.
And if we can't
for each period where their name is on the master slide deck, so they can't modify them, but that would just be a huge time saver.
Yeah.
And the paragraph is just awesome too.
Ah, here we go. Roster to slides.
Roster to slides.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So there's that. And then I'm going to go change and fix my slides for you guys. Okay.
That's awesome.
Well, here, roster tab. What was this one? Roster to slides. I'll just add it so that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for letting me know. I'm glad you checked it because I'd feel really badly that it was wrong. There we go. Cool.
That is beautiful.
Thank you so much
beautiful.
for joining us.
Maggie, do you have questions? Maggie always has questions.
No, I'm good to go, John. Thank you for letting me today.
Highlighting you.
Oh, it's always a joy to work with you, John.
That's right. Same to you.
I lost you guys. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in and spending your Monday morning with us. And I am going to bounce out because John, I think you claim this room. I have to bounce.
That's correct.
Okay.
You're squatting on my room.
Wow.
Oh, make sure you make me host first.
Oh, well, what if I didn't, John?
No, leave first, and then he can't do it.
Yeah. Then someone will become the host. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now you are the host. Thank you guys so much for attending our PD. Just love that you were here.
And then Josh, I don't know if you're in the last session, but Maggie, hang around for a second. I'm going to blow your mind right now. If you've done Thin Slide Study Guide invented by this girl right here, Thin Slide Study Guide, upgraded with the Alice Keeler names to slides thing. So dig this. How many of us have spent a Saturday or a Sunday making the review slides? You waste a whole weekend making the review slides. Then you get to school and you're thinking, these slides are awesome. The kids don't care. They do not care. So if you take Thin Slides, I did a couple little tweaks off of what something that Kim had done, but basically Thin Slide Review, it goes like this. So we're working on weather right now: air mass, precipitation, high pressure, low pressure, all those kinds of terms. We go one word on each slide. I distribute the slides to the kids, and then they have 3 minutes. Sometimes I'll give them a little bit more because what I've got is one picture, syllabicate the word, doubling down, right? Syllabicate the word, do some extra. And then I have them copy and paste in the definition from the internet and then rewrite it right in front of me. 5 minutes, whole class done review. We're going to do it again tomorrow, but I switched the words. We're going to do it the next day, but I switched the words. That's a totally different way to review. So big shout out to Kim for that slight little variation.
Ooh, and then pick a picture that's the opposite of your word.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's all these kinds of variations, right? Because once you've seen the same picture 2 days in a row for precipitation, now it's time for some hijinks, right? So let's play some shenanigans, opposite or contrast, which is fancier. So that's just, but that's an example of these little things we're getting done with EduProtocols where I had done that Thin Slide thing for like 5 years by myself. And then I showed it to somebody and they're like, this is awesome. Everybody should do this. And then that takes off. And then Kim comes back after doing it for 3 months and she's like, you know what? You could do a study guide that way. And then you're like, what? And then I did it. And I realized I wanted my kids to put the definition, not just the picture. But then I realized that if they did the definition, they would probably copy paste it, which was not optimal. So then I played a DOT, dirty old teacher trick, which is copy and paste the definition and then right next to it, put it in your own words so we can see how well you did. And that's super subtle. That's subtle because at first they're like, this is great. And then I'm like, no, write your own. And they have to make it the same yet not the same. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that definitely kicks up the mental workload a bit for them, which is the goal, right? They need to make their own,
right?
Not
but it's very much like a boiled frog approach. So you're not blowing their minds, right? It's it's very contained, but then it just goes like this a little bit every day. And then again, if Josh was in my class in 5th grade and then he went to Maggie's class, he could do Thin Slides at a very high level on the first day of 7th grade. And that allows Maggie to push it even harder. And then maybe Joan Kane or Monica Valcarcel, I think I shredded her last name. If she teaches 8th grade, then they're going to push it higher. So over multiple years, we're going to actually see bigger growth, not just sustaining the same old thing. Okay, so the next session, I believe, starts at 11:30.
It does.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on some tunes and take a quick water break. If you guys want, if you're going to stay in here, just stay. We're going to be doing some EduProtocols in the context of Nearpod. And so if you're teaching remotely, this is a really neat combo move and really subtle, really easy. And I'm going to do some chef's table, which means I'm going to build a couple in real time so you guys can see how quick and easy it is. Kalina, there is a version of Nearpod that can be used for free. And I'm picking on Nearpod this time, but it could also be done just as easily with Pear Deck. So if you're a Pear Deck person, the same mindset applies for Pear Deck. So like I said, I'm going to put on a little music right now, and I'm going to take a very quick bio break. If you guys have been sitting for a while, being purposeful and mindful and healthy, I suggest you get up and take a little stretch break or a bio break, and then we'll move towards wrapping up.